Hey everybody, this is Bradley Benner, and this is Hump Day Hangouts episode 21, which is March 25th, 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Glad to have everybody here. I got Hernan on with me, who is one of my SEO partners in Semantic Mastery. So say what's up, Hernan.
Hey everybody, how are you doing? Glad to have you here.
And it looks like one of our other partners, Marco, might be coming shortly. I can see him lurking in the chat box, but he hasn't joined us yet. So he may be coming in as we continue. I'm going to kind of try to jump right into some of these questions, and I got a small presentation I want to do ahead to start off with, because we talked about it last week. I kind of teased you guys a little bit about some indexing stuff, and we had a question actually from Brian Lichtig about indexing stuff, so I wanted to cover that first, and then once I get done with that, we'll jump into the rest of the questions. Okay, so all right, so one of the things that I know we had some questions about from Brian and from others, including people inside the mastermind, was how to get some of these Web 2 links that we create through the IFTTT networks indexed. And I have some thoughts about that, okay, as to what your strategy is. First of all, why would you want them to index? I know a lot of people, some of the discussions I've had with people in the mastermind were that they were monitoring their backlink profile on their website. So if you're using the IFTTT networks to rank your website, it's one thing. It's another if you're doing it for your YouTube videos. And if you're doing it for your YouTube videos, like I say, yeah, get them all indexed as quickly as possible. And so I'm going to show you guys something that I use for all of my video syndication networks today that will completely automate your indexing too. Okay, so we're going to talk about that in just a moment. But I do want to preface this with, if you guys are doing this for your website, why do you want your backlinks indexed? Okay, and the thing is that if, first of all, you say that they're not indexed, and I'm not talking to you specifically, Brian. I'm talking to just you in general, if that makes sense. But I get questions. People say, well, my backlinks aren't, my IFTTT Web 2 backlinks aren't getting indexed. Well, how do you know that? Like, first of all, have you done a site operator check to see if they're being indexed, or are they just not showing up in Ahrefs and Majestic SEO?
Right.
And that's typically the answer that I'll get is, well, I'm not seeing them in Majestic SEO or Ahrefs. And I say, well, that doesn't mean they're not being indexed. It just means they're not being shown in those tools. And part of the reason why is because those tools won't pick up a lot of links like that. And I don't know if it's because they filter them out intentionally or what, but you can force some of those to be indexed as well. But again, that comes back to my question. My point is to, why do you want those to show, other than so you can see that you're building links? Because if they show in Majestic, then you're or Ahrefs for that matter, or any backlink analysis tool, then your competitors can see them too, right? And I typically don't really want my competitors seeing what I'm doing. So that's number one. Number two is, just because they're not showing in Majestic doesn't mean Google doesn't know they're there. So there's two ways to check for that. Number one is do a site operator, and I'm going to make an example here before I get into the automated indexing thing. But I've scraped all my links, my RSS feeds from one of my how-to SEO network, guys. Which, if you bought YouTube SEO Academy, or I'm sorry, YouTube Silo Academy, you'll know that I used that particular channel for the training in YouTube Silo Academy. And so I've got my branded Tier 1 network here. These are the RSS feeds, and you'll see why in a minute when we get into the automated indexing method that I use. But this is Tier 1, and then here is these are the Tier 2 network. So these are just the RSS feeds from the Tier 2 network. All right. So let's just grab the Blogger account from one of the Tier 2 networks. The reason why I say Tier 2 networks here, guys, is because I want to show you that, like, I've been building backlinks to my Tier 1 networks. I boost those. I told you guys I always supercharge my networks using FCS Networker and GSA. I do that hands down every time. Okay, it's just some part of the process. Once I build a network, I add. You guys probably don't see my screen. Once I grab and build a network, I add. I immediately send it over to Dedia, my tool manager, who will set up an FCS campaign and then a GSA campaign after that. So the Tier 1 links get indexed because they have other links being built to them all the time. But the Tier 2 network links, they typically don't. Like, I will boost those sometimes if needed, but not all the time. So anyways, what I want to show you here is this is a tier 2, and hopefully this is one of them that is showing some index links. Yeah. All right, so this is a tier 2 network, guys. Those of you that are building tiered network structures, you'll know what this is. This is tier 2A. In other words, this is being fed from the blogger blog on tier 1. Okay, and you can see that this, I have done absolutely nothing in additional to this blogger account, and they are indexing the blog posts. You see this? So like, for example, guys, in the YouTube Silo Academy training, one of the videos that I did was, well, like how to do SEO yourself, how to be an SEO expert. Those are blog posts or videos that I did for that YouTube Silo Academy training. So if we open this up, you'll see this is just that video that I had done for that, and this has been syndicated. So this is a tier 2 embed, right? Tier 1 is my How to SEO branded network. Tier 2 is 3 persona rings. This being tier 2A ring, okay, which is Karina Jennings is the persona. And you can see that the only thing, this is the embed from and it comes from my blogger account, and you can see where it says from How to SEO blogger. If I click on this, this is going to take me to my tier 1 branded network for How to SEO. You guys see that? So my point is, in showing you this, is that I have done absolutely nothing to this site, and it is indexing the posts. So for those of you that say, well, my links aren't being indexed, have you checked site colon? Do the site colon operator and look, because chances are they are being indexed. You just didn't know it because they're not showing in Majestic or Ahrefs. Okay, that's method number 1 of checking indexing. Number 2 is go to Google Webmaster Tools and check. Okay, so let's see if I've got, I wonder if I'm logged into a Google account here. I am with How to SEO, but I don't know if I have access to Webmaster Tools here. We can check real quick. I don't think I do. Yeah, I don't think I have anything connected in here anyways. In Google Webmaster Tools, let's see if we can just, I don't want to reveal too much, but I want to see if I can show you guys where to look for this. So let's just click on one of these very quickly. All right, so this is my blogger account for bradleybenner.blogspot.com, and this is just something that is part of one of my syndication networks, guys. I don't really use this for anything, but if you guys are in Google Webmaster Tools and you have your tier 1 or your money site connected to Webmaster Tools, which you should, right? Then if you come over to go to crawl, or I'm sorry, go to where is it? Which one is it? Search traffic and go to links to your site. You'll see right here if there are links available from the tier or from your IFTTT syndication network properties. You'll see links here. This is a poor example because I've never built. I don't have anything. There's no additional links pointing to this. This is one of my bradleybenner.blogspot.com site. So this is a poor example. But if you have your money site connected and you're searching this, again, go to Google Webmaster Tools. Make sure you have your account connected, your site connected, and then go to search traffic links to your site. Now, guys, keep in mind, before I get a bunch of questions later about I connected my site to Webmaster Tools and I checked and there's nothing showing. It takes time for them to populate, for Google to find them and show it. But my point is if you've had your site connected to Webmaster Tools for, let's say, a month, and you've been building links using IFTTT networks, you will start to see WordPress and Tumblr and Blogger and Delicious and Digo, and all of the different links will be shown over here. It'll show the data available, and then you can click on a button and actually download as a CSV file the links, the links that are pointed to that site. So you will be able to see that. All right. So I just spent 9 minutes telling you guys how they are getting indexed. They're just probably not showing up in your.
Just to.
Go ahead.
Just to chime in, Bradley. For once, I've noticed that Google Webmaster will show you just a fraction of link,
but right.
it will show you the IFTTT networks, and that's why we're using them, because they feed directly Google with data. If you check the analytics on the social tab of the links that you're getting and the visitors that you're getting on analytics, you will see there is a social hub, and that's exactly why we're using these IFTTT networks, because these social hub or the social data hub partners, that's the one, they will feed information into Google directly. Okay, so as you can see, most of those are are
Right here.
being yeah, there you go. There you go. Those are the ones that I was referring to, and we're using like most of those for the IFTTT network. So it doesn't actually matter if Google Webmaster shows you or if you see them. The main idea here, and working with GSA and FCS, I know that you will blast the page with, I don't know, 6,000 or 100,000 backlinks, and on Ahref on Google it will show just a little bit, a really tiny fraction of those. So the main idea here is that you see a bump in traffic and a bump in rankings, you know, and you'll know that these links are being indexed some way or another, even if you have, because remember that if you don't have access to that information, neither does your competitor.
That's right. And
so,
and thank you, Renan, because that's exactly what I was saying. Like for when you're using the IFTTT networks for your website, like I personally would rather them not show up because I don't want other people seeing what I'm doing. For YouTube stuff, I care less. Like I don't care if anybody sees what I'm doing because I'm just blasting the hell out of YouTube properties anyways, right? I really don't care. But when it comes back to my money site, like websites, that's when I would rather hide it, you know, not make it as easily available to my competitors to see what I'm doing. Okay, but yeah, like Hernan said, guys, and I just posted this link on the events page. Social Data Hub partners. That's why we use a lot of the properties that we do, because they're like literally partnered with Google as, and that's why we call them white hat links. You know, these are completely white hat links. But that said, okay, let's move on and let's go ahead and talk about what I do for automating link indexing. Okay, and so I want to talk about this. There's a plugin that I use on my WordPress sites for my video syndication networks with a companion website, okay? Or guys, look, even if you don't have a companion website and you're just doing video SEO networks, or if you want to index your Web2s for your IFTTT networks that are connected to your website, okay? It doesn't matter whether you're doing blog syndication or video syndication, this will work for both. And if you're doing video syndication and you do not have a companion website, all you need is a WordPress site, period. A self-hosted WordPress site that you can install this plugin on, even if you don't have a companion website for your video syndication network. Doesn't matter. You can just go out and buy a .info domain or whatever, something cheap, in a .us or whatever, stick WordPress on it, install this plugin, because all it is a vehicle for automating the indexing for your Web2 networks. And I'm going to show you how right now. Okay, so I'm going to post this link on the events page real quick, and then I'm going to show you the plugin itself. All right, so this is number one. There's two steps to this. There's the plugin, and then there's an indexing service. Okay, the indexing service that I recommend is this one here. This will be the next link I'm posting, and we're going to actually walk through both of these now. So the plugin itself, and I set this up. This is the same. This is the companion website for the How to SEO network. And since we just were talking about that, and you guys have probably seen this through the YouTube Silo Academy training anyways, like I said, here is my branded, my RSS feed URLs from my branded Tier 1 network, okay? So any one of the Web2 accounts within that branded network that have an RSS feed output, right, that has its own RSS feed, I collected those, and I put them on this sheet. So here is my branded Tier 1 network, and here are my three branded, my three Tier 2 networks, right? So Tier 2A, fed by Blogger, is right here. Tier 2B, fed by Tumblr, is right here. And Tier 2C, fed by WordPress.com, is right here. You guys see that? You get that? All right, so what I did was I just went ahead and I installed this plugin. It's called Backlink Commando. It's by Sean Donahoe. And this thing will do a ton. This is one of those Swiss Army knife plugins that does like a whole bunch of stuff. I only use it for one thing and one thing only, and that's for indexing links. And I'm going to show you how I do it, because again, there's so many plugins out there that will do like all these million different things, and I found that most of them are worthless. Like this one, I think has it, and it may have some other functions that are really cool, but I've never taken the time to use them because I use it for one specific thing, and it works really, really well for that. Okay, so I put the link on the events page there, but you guys can check it out. And I'm going to show you. I went ahead and installed it, and I activated it, because you got to get a license key with it. And I'm going to show you very quickly how to set this up, so that you guys know how to set it up as well. But you go once you log in, you go to General Settings, or once you activate it, you go to General Settings. I'm going to scroll down here, and there's a couple options right here. The main settings that I turn off, like I turn off email posting and enable XML RPC because I'm not using those functions, so I turn them off. What this thing, and I'll show, and guys, just stick with me here. It's only going to take me a minute to show you the setup, and then you'll realize what this thing does and why I use it. Okay, so just stay with me for a moment. Okay, so this right here says max URLs per run, maximum links to promote per run. So essentially, when you see how this works, we're going to add all of our RSS URLs from our Web 2 networks. Okay, and what this plugin will do is it's going to actually go scrape all of the URLs for the posts from each one of these and add them to a queue to be indexed. And it will automatically index however many, or process however many links you tell it to right here. So right now, by default, it's set to 2. Which, by the way, guys, you could do this manually, but it would be really tough. And what I mean by that is, like if we were to take this How to SEO Blogger URL here, this is from my branded blogger. I'm going to copy this and go over to Firefox real quick and show you. This is that blogger here, as a matter of fact. If I paste this in and we go take a look, you're going to see these are the URLs, right? So this is the URL to the post title. This is the URL back to the video. Got those of you that have taken IFTTT SEO Academy, you know that we code that into the recipe. And here's a link back to the channel, right? You guys see that? So this is the RSS. This is the RSS feed. But the problem here is, how do you scrape all these URLs out of here, right? How do you get all of the URLs out of the actual feed itself and then manually post them into an indexing service? So that's where this comes in, is this plugin, because this plugin, we can add the RSS feed URLs to here, and it will pull the links out and automatically submit them. So if I'm going to submit 4 rings, right, 4 IFTTT rings worth of feeds, then I'm going to want this to probably, I don't know, do maybe 5 links per run, process 5 links per run. And in days between reboosting, guys, this is a setting where, like 15 or 30 days or whatever, we could say like every 15 days, we want it to start over and go back through and reboost everything again, which essentially means send it back to the indexing service again. This is great for those of you that have asked questions about, you know, if you have a video that you've syndicated across your network and it ranks well, but then after a month or 2 months or whatever, it starts to lose it, you know, starts to drop in the SERPs. This is something that will help to prevent that, because it will automatically reboost or resubmit your Web 2 links for indexing, right? Which gives them a little bit of a boost, gives them a little bit of juice, which will in turn boost your video a little bit or keep it from falling. So I might say, because there's going to be a ton of links coming from these, I might say let's do 30 days. I'm going to click Save Changes. All right, next thing you got to do is just, you can skip everything else. I do, because I don't use it for anything else. But I want to scroll down, and you're going to need to set a cron job. For those of you that don't know what a cron job is, it's basically a way to automate a certain process. It's telling WordPress to do something on a certain time. Okay. Now, there are cron jobs that you can set within your host. I do not recommend that. I always recommend using an external cron. There's a cron called Set Cron Job, an external cron service called Set Cron Job that I use. I've been using it forever. It's dirt cheap if you need a pro plan. There is a free plan. If you're only going to be doing this for like one website, that's probably all you need is a free plan. If you're going to be doing this for a bunch of stuff, it's like really, really dirt cheap. Like, I don't know, I spend like maybe $50 per year on this thing, but it's called setcronjob.com. Hey, Hernan, if you get a chance, can you put setcronjob.com on the events page, please?
Sure. Yep.
Guys, this is it. I just set up a free account because I didn't want to reveal all of my other accounts, you know, all my other through my main account. But I set up a free account for this demonstration. I'm logged in. I'm going to click Create Cron Job. Right here, I'm going to paste the URL that it says right here in the plugin. If you're going to use an external cron job, use this URL. And guys, there will be a recording for this, like there is every week. So don't worry if I'm going fast. Okay, I just want to get to some questions too. But I want to show you that you just put the URL to call here. You tell it when to call. So how often do you want it to process? Remember, we just set this to 5 links to process each time that it runs. And I'm thinking what I typically do was I'll have it process about once every 4 hours, so 6 times per day. But you can do it more, you can do it less. Don't go crazy with it though, guys, because you kind of want to drip some of these out anyways, right? So what I'm going to say is let's say I'm going to do this every 6 hours, which would be 4 times per day. So every 6 hours, it's going to process 5 links, right? And it's going to do it 4 times per day, so that's 20 links per day. If I wanted to do it some more than that, let's say I do it every 4 hours, which would be 6 times per day at 5 links per process run. That's going to be 30 links per day, right? All right, so let's just go ahead and save that. If I want to go into more options, there's some other things that you can do, like you can have it, you can set a group, so you can group stuff together. You can give it a name. So let's just say how to SEO BLC for Backlink Commando. Let's just do that. Okay. You can also have it tell you to notify you in case something fails, like only when cron is disabled because of failures. That way you can get an email. It'll tell you, oh, by the way, your cron's failing, which could alert you to go check your website, make sure everything's okay. There's things that you can do. But regardless, I'm going to click Save Cronjob, and now you can see these other three were just example crons when you sign up, so I can delete those. But you can see now I have How to SEO BLC right here, and if we go check the logs, the execution logs, you'll see that with every 4 hours this thing will run. Okay, and so what that's going to do is it's going to come here and it's going to tell it to process whatever URLs it has ready to go. So that said, I'm going to keep moving, guys. I'm trying to move quick through here. Next thing you need to do is go to third party. And by the way, before we go any further, I do want to point out that why am I using Backlinks Indexer? There are 4 options here on this page that you can use for indexing services. There's Link Pipeline, OnlyWire, which I do not recommend. It would be incredibly expensive if you did. Backlinks Indexer and Linklicious. It used to be Linklicious.me, but I think it's now Linklicious.co. Out of these 4, the best one is Backlinks Indexer, guys, and I've tested, I don't know, probably a dozen different Backlinks Indexers over the years, and Backlinks Indexer is one of the best, and in fact, I have Hernan, I'm going to drop this in chat if you can put this on the events page. This is a study that was done last summer, by Zont SEO, who was like basically the #1 training source for SE Nuke. Any of you are familiar with SE Nuke, you'll be familiar with Zont SEO. But they tested multiple, let's see, I thought I still had it open. Let me just show you real quick. Okay, so they did a test, and they used really spammy links, okay, so like dirt really crappy spammy links that had not indexed in 2 months naturally. And then they ran them through this campaign that was about a 90-day campaign or a 60-day campaign or something like that. And out of the results that they got, the Backlinks Indexer performed the best. And this was last summer. And this is what brought me back to Backlinks Indexer, because at the time I was using other services, but this particular post, you'll get much better results than just 20% when you're using higher quality posts, which is what we do with our IFTTT networks, right? So just so you know, that's why I'm using this, is because of this particular report. Read through this if you have time. It's very interesting. But again, if you just want the short of it, Backlinks Indexer is a good service to use. It's one of the better ones out there, in my opinion. So anyways, go purchase a Backlinks Indexer. I put the link on the events page, but you can go purchase an account there. They've got several different levels depending on your needs. So from here, what I would do is I would turn on Backlinks Indexer, and I'm going to have to pause the screen for a moment while I fill in the API key. I've got it ready, so just a moment. So I don't want you guys stealing my API key. Which would happen. All right, so I'm going to go back to share my screen.
I just reiterated what you said on, the links. For if anyone is interested in buying, I just paste them again.
Yeah, please do. Here, you want let me grab them, Hernan, and I'll give them to you so you can put them on a notepad for it. Here you go.
Cool.
Okay. All right. So, guys, once you've done that, once you've connected a backlinks indexing source, then you go over to RSS. We're going to click on that, and here we go. Here's where we can RSS extractor. You see that? So now we can put the feed links here that you would like to extract links from, one per line, and then I'm going to show you how this works, guys. It's freaking incredible, and I love this plugin. I've been using this for, I don't know, probably the better part of a year now, because I wanted the same thing before I realized that, for websites, guys, you probably don't want to show other people what you're doing, but for video stuff, it just helps to rank the videos quicker. All right, so you can see that all I did was just grouped all of those together into one big group. So this is my Tier 1 network and my 3 Tier 2 networks, all of the RSS feeds that are available from those networks. I'm going to click Save Changes. Okay. Now, if I come over here and go to Process Queue, and remember, the cron job that we just set is going to do this automatically now. So we could set and forget, we're done. We don't have to do anything else, it's going to do it for us. Okay, but just to show you the process, I'm going to click on Process Queue, and I'm going to go ahead and queue it. And right now what it's doing is it's going out and it's going to start the process, and it's going to start to read all of the, and I may have, because I put so many in there all at once, it might be hard on it, but you'll see that it's going to take a few minutes, and it's going to read, and it's going to come back, and it's going to show how many links it's extracted. So you can see right here it says RSS gathering, checking RSS feeds for new items to add to the queue, and it goes through all here, and you can see each one of these feeds. It added 10 items from this feed, and 10 items from this feed, 10 from this one, 7 from this one, 2 from this one. You can see that it's gone through and it's added all of these feeds. And so now if we go over to our backlinks section over here, you'll see that we have 219 backlinks that it scraped. It pulled out of our RSS feeds. These are Web 2.0 backlinks, or links, posts, Web 2.0 posts. And now every 4 hours, it's going to go out and it's going to submit 5 of them to the indexing service that I just connected. And you will get an email out of it, or you can come in and check it. And where it says boost now, if you click that, it's going to, the process queue, you'll see, it'll show in just a minute. You can see the wheel spinning. But now it says raising host limits, whatever, pinging and backlinks indexer, adding this URL to backlinks indexer for increased links. Okay, so again, this will happen automatically based on the cron job settings that we set with the how many links it'll process. But I just wanted to show you that that's what it does. So now this has automatically been added to backlinks indexer. Okay.
I love it. I have it on a subdomain. That's the index, that subdomain. I have it on a subdomain just for, you know, with a basic WordPress install with nothing on it. And it's just for boosting and indexing purposes.
And that's exactly right. You can put it on a subdomain, or just a kind of just another domain that you had. It doesn't have to be on a money site, is what I'm saying.
Right.
It can be on anything as long as it's a self-hosted WordPress site. Okay. Yeah, so anyways, guys, I didn't want to take up too much time with that, but I thought it was important because I know we get those questions a lot. So I guess now we can move on to the questions that are pending, which are probably a lot. And I apologize it took half of the time, guys, but I think that was important for you guys to know how to do that. And it's a question that's come up often, so I wanted to cover that publicly and tell you how to do it. Okay. All right, so let's see. I'm going to stick. We got about 30 minutes left because we got masterclass starting, and that's another good cue. Hernan at iftttseo.com/masterclass. If you want to drop that in the top. But guys, we got that starting in about 30 minutes, so we're going to try to run through these. That's the ongoing. That's the coaching, the ongoing coaching webinar series for IFTTT SEO and how to build a real business out of it. So if you guys haven't joined that yet, you ought to think about it because we're on week 3 today, and we've got a lot to cover. We're doing YouTube on-page optimization today, and some and building a companion website and uses for that. So we'll talk about that for those of you that will be joining me in 30 minutes. Kendall says, I posted this in the Facebook group, was asked to post this here for Wednesday. Are there any training videos that talk about the setup of a branded money page website for the IFT? Okay, so that's talking about the companion website for an IFTTT network. I know that you mentioned in the trading that we should have a money site along with our branded YouTube channel and should be pushing those videos to the money site also. I didn't see any specific videos subject on the training. Kendall, we're going to talk about that in Masterclass. I think you're a Masterclass member, but we're actually talking about that today. So in 30 minutes we'll be talking, well, during Masterclass today we're going to be talking about that. So hopefully you are in that, and if you're not, you might want to sign up because we're going to be talking about that extensively in there today. But he says, I'm wondering, is there anything special or specific we need to do when syndicating to the money site? Do we just post these as normal blog posts? Yes. Yes, you just keep them. You just post them as normal blog posts. There's a couple things that there's like some advanced stuff that we're going to talk about in Masterclass, but you could just take the embed code and post it as an paste the embed code in a blog post, and then put a description under it, and then post it out. You can certainly do that. In fact, something that I do a lot for clients is when they have videos, is we get a transcription of the video, and then we use that as the text underneath the video on the blog itself, and post it out that way. And then obviously you want to silo it out. And if you know how to do YouTube silos based on YouTube Silo Academy, you can mirror those same kind of silo structure on the website itself. And again, we're going to be talking about embedding playlists using the silo playlist that we create. We're going to talk about how to embed those on the companion website today for maximum effect. Okay.
Oh,
so
those are great.
Go ahead.
No, those, I mean, those are great. I think we mentioned it. The other Hyundai Hangout that we are embedding playlists, you know, and you can set up to have the very first video to refresh the playlist. So the playlist will be basically refreshing the entire website, the homepage or the sidebar or whatever you're doing. So embedding playlists adds authority to the whole channel, the way I see it.
And the website.
And the website as well, because it keeps it with fresh YouTube content, which is great.
Yep. And so we'll be talking, and we talked about it briefly either last week or 2 weeks ago on Hump Day Hangouts. So you can go back and watch the replay from either last week or 2 weeks ago. You'll catch in the beginning part of that where we talked about that as well. Okay. Estelle says, question for Wednesday. I'm setting up an IFTTT network for a client who has 100+ blog articles and YouTube videos already published. Can I make the how can I make the most out of the existing content? Upload videos again with new title and description, or change publishing date of evergreen content on the blog? Okay, great question, Estelle. For the videos, guys, there's a way to set up recipes where if you favorite a video, it will syndicate across your network. Okay, so if you've already got videos that syndicated, you know, have already been like pre-existing videos on a channel that didn't have a network, but now you build a network, you connect it to the channel, you can set up your recipes. Guys, it's one of the selections. If you set up a manual recipe, like you manually create the recipe instead of using the recipes that the URLs that I gave you in the training, if you just do it manually, then when you set the trigger, so if this YouTube, then, and you set the trigger action, you can do favorite a video, and you can do the same action, which would be to publish a post or whatever it is, you know. But that's one way that you can do it, okay? So you can just go through and actually favorite videos, be logged in as that channel once you've set up those recipes, and then go back through the channel and add those videos to a favorite playlist, and that will literally syndicate existing videos back out across the network, okay? That's something else that you can do even if you had already syndicated it out and you need a boost, is you can add that video to a favorite playlist, and you know, and that's the favorite playlist is what it is, and then it will push that video out again. Okay. As far as your content on the blog, yeah, what I've done in the past, and you know, we've talked about developing a plugin for this, and I've never followed up with Chris, our developer, about it, and I should. But coming up with a plugin that will change the publishing date and like basically reinsert it into the feed, because that would be awesome, right? And that's kind of what Backlink Commando is doing. What were you going to say, Hernan?
No, yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, I think that what Backlink Commando does is to ping it again, you know, and send it again for indexation. But I don't think that it reinserts it on the feed.
It doesn't.
It will create a side feed though that you can submit to RSS directories. You know, it will mash up your feeds and create a new feed that you can send to RSS directories and etc. But I don't think it will reinsert your post on your money side feed or your companion side feed. That would be pretty interesting to try.
Yeah, and that's why I said we need to develop a plugin that does that, because that would be awesome.
Let me make a note of that.
But what you can do, Estelle, and I've done this, is you can go in and go into a pre-existing post that have already been published and go change the publishing date to 5 minutes in the future from right now, okay? And then click update, and it will show it as scheduled. And then in 5 minutes, you refresh the page, and it will publish it again, and it will reinsert it in the feed. It's a manual process, but it will reinsert it into the feed, because I've done that to boost blog posts again. Okay, so just so you know, you just need to change the publishing date to sometime in the future, and then you know, it'll automatically publish itself, or you can, you know, refresh it. Like if you're going to do it manually, like I'll set it to the publishing date to like 2 minutes ahead of whatever my current time is. And then I'll go do something else, and I'll come back a couple minutes later and refresh the page, and it will reinsert it into the feed. Okay. Jamie says, I was signed in as my Google Plus Pages account, not a profile, using the page login, and I went to Blogger to test what I will be doing for my client, and bam, it is a separate Blogger account for my branded business page. Now that I've already set up my company Blogger page under my personal profile Blogger account, and everything with IFTTT is all set, should I keep it this way or switch to the new branded business Blogger page? The issue is that I'm already using my company name for the already set up Blogger blog. Moving forward when setting up clients, should I use the personal profile or the branded page sign in with the setup? Okay, moving forward, if and you know what, I kind of know what you're talking about, but because I don't, my VAs do this for me, I'm not 100% sure. I know when you set up the account, it gives you the option to use it as a branded account or a business account, or to use it as a personal account. So I would suggest, if it's for a branded, like a company, to go ahead and set it up to use as the business account. However, I think that it removes some of the functioning from it if you do that. I'm not 100% sure, Jamie. I know
What I
that.
usually, sorry, Bradley, what I usually do is to set up the blog with the page login that you need to set up, to create
Right.
to create the page or the YouTube channel. You need to set up or to syndicate out with IFTTT. You need to create a page login. Then I use that page login to create a blog.
Okay.
Makes sense.
And so that answers your question, Jamie. And I know that Gary from in our mastermind, Gary Kiron, he posted a blog post inside the mastermind that addresses this further. And so I'll find out from Gary if he minds if we share that outside of the mastermind, and we can,
where you can transfer the blog to another entity or to another
So I would suggest using the page login and setting up that way going forward. But then you could essentially still set up a profile blogger account too, right? And now you've got two blogger accounts syndicating content, right? So you could certainly do that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Jamie, that's what I'm saying. Gary had posted something in the mastermind about how you can transfer it, and it was just a post. So I'll find out if Gary minds sharing that. I'm sure he won't, and we'll get it over to you. Okay. Ite says, Hump Day Hangout questions. Can you elaborate on YouTube descriptions that we should or shouldn't use? Also, does keyword stuffing at the end of the description help or hurt our efforts in getting Big G to pick up the video in organic search? So first question, yeah, I've covered this. I know I've covered this at least in the mastermind, maybe not publicly, but I'll cover it here. That's fine. For keywords, guys, you do not need to stuff. Okay, the most important place to have the keyword in a YouTube video is in the title. Okay, and then have it once at the beginning, once in the body, and guys, by the way, you can use 5,000 characters in a YouTube description. Up to 5,000 characters. Use them. Try to use them. Try to flesh that out. Put a full article in there. Don't keyword stuff your article. You don't need to. In fact, it could actually hurt your rankings because Panda does apply to YouTube videos now. It's not near as severe, but it does certainly apply. So make sure that when you're using the description area, all you need is the keyword in the title. I put it once in the opening sentence or so at the very top of the description, once in the main body, and then once near the end. And that's typically, and that's assuming that you have a fully fleshed out description with 3,500 plus characters. Okay, I don't know how many words that is because it depends on how sophisticated words you use. You know what I mean? But I try to put a lot of content in the description area for the most part, not always, but for the most part, because it helps to rank the videos. And then use a good mix of LSI or co-occurring keywords.
Right.
So synonyms. Use a lot of synonyms in the description. You do not need a bunch of the same keyword. And Google is not. You don't need to hammer Google over the head with keywords anymore, guys. You don't have to. Okay.
It's just like you would with a blog post of yours. Right. The main idea here is that you use them naturally, because don't forget that also people will be potentially reading your description. So we are doing it for people, and we are doing it for Google as well. I've ranked videos using IFTTT and events and those kind of things. I've ranked videos for a lot of keywords, where it's just the main keywords on the title and a couple of times in the description, and the rest is all LSI natural reading stuff. So I wouldn't worry about it. What works is to add, if you're doing local, as per Bradley experience, what works is to add in the postal codes.
Zip codes, yeah.
The zip codes,
and the zip codes just help it to show up for mobile search, really, more than anything. But as far as stuffing at the end, no, don't do it. Don't do it. It looks spammy. Just don't. You don't need to, guys. You don't need to. Trust me. You don't need to do it. Okay. So, how many keywords should or shouldn't we use in the title description of a YouTube video? I always target one in the title, guys. I target one keyword. If I've got two keywords, I mean, look, like what Hernan just said, I usually will target one keyword. However, if you have naturally co-occurring keywords, synonyms, LSI keywords in the description, oftentimes, the video will rank for those keywords as well. However, I typically only target one keyword per video. If there's more keywords that I need to target, I do more videos. Because I look at it this way: I only plan on the video ranking for the main keyword that I'm targeting, and that would be what I put in the title. Okay. I know that some people have put, 2 variations of the keyword in the title and it'll rank for both. And that, hey, if you test it, look, that's my best advice: test it. If it works for you, then it works for you. I typically do not do that, though. I just do one keyword in the title, and that's it for the most part.
Yeah. And Google has become intelligent enough to determine correlation and semantic approximation, and semantic proximity, I should say, and it will rank you if you have enough authority on your channel, on your playlist, and on your IFTTT network. That's why we build backlinks to those. It will rank you for a bunch array of other keywords and synonyms.
That's right. Okay, so how important are YouTube video tags? Very important, I tell you. Very important. How many should you choose? I only choose, I do the main keyword, and then I split it up. So again, since I do a lot of local, like for example, if I was doing plumber, Fairfax, Virginia, I would do like plumber Fairfax, VA would be tag number 1. Then I might have plumber, plumbing contractor. Then I'd have Fairfax, VA, VA for just Virginia, then Virginia spelled out. And by the way, guys, there's semantic tags. When you start typing in your tags, you'll see that there are like suggested tags. Those are semantic tags coming straight from Google's semantic database. Use them. Okay? Use the ones that make sense. Make sure they make sense, though, because if they don't use them. Like you'll see sometimes we'll have in parentheses like literature subject next to it or something. If that doesn't make sense, don't use it. But the semantic tags that do make sense, use them. They're very powerful. Okay, how many do I use? I usually, like I said, I'll do the main keyword as the first tag. Then I'll take variations and split it up also to break it out into like the geographic modifier only and that kind of thing. So my tags I generally will have between maybe 6 to 8 tags at most. And that's it. Because again, I'm targeting one main keyword per video. But I know that some people have had pretty good success with finding, and putting in as many tags as they can with related keywords. I'm just telling you what I do. And I try to focus it all around one particular keyword to rank for that. Okay. For instance, for a local SEO client, would you recommend using, let's say, plumber or plumbing in addition to city names? Yes. Again, I would say like plumber, Fairfax, VA would be my main tag. Then I would go with plumber, plumbing contractor. Then I would do Fairfax, VA, Virginia spelled out. And then if it's a small enough area, I will put the zip codes in as tags as well, each individual postal code. However, if you're in a big city that has dozens and dozens of zip codes for one city, then I do not recommend doing that. Okay, put them in maybe the description area instead. Okay, we got to move on. We're running out of time. We still got a lot of questions. Estelle says, another question for Wednesday. I didn't understand why a competitor of my client who didn't seem to do any SEO effort, just local directory listings and a blog, consistently had #1 rankings for the keywords I am tracking. When I analyzed the backlinks of the blog, I found a Wikipedia link. I'm pretty sure most of his juice comes from this link. What can I do? Try to delete the links in Wikipedia, or try to get Wikipedia links as well? If so, how can I do that properly? All right, that's a pretty involved question, Estelle. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to get to that entirely today. I know Gary did answer you right here, and Gary he's awesome. He's one of our mastermind members. I think his response is pretty helpful. So I would say go ahead and follow what he says here. My personal opinion is to not try to delete the Wikipedia link, guys. I don't do any sort of negative SEO ever, okay? And I would consider that negative SEO. And personally, it's a personal preference. I couldn't sleep at night if I did it. And karma is a real bitch, So I just do not do any sort of negative SEO at all, period. And that's just my personal preference. I don't like to do it. I feel like it will come back and bite me at some point, so I just don't do it. All right.
Yeah, and your energy is better invested on ranking properties instead of taking them down. So
that's right. Hernan said it very, very well. I would rather spend my energy looking for alternate ways to rank that property, or just rank additional properties for that same keyword phrase, than I would trying to undo what somebody else did. You know what I mean? Like I just don't. I can't do that. I just don't feel good about doing that. So. But Gary did a great job of responding to that. So, Nick says, is social bookmarking still necessary? And if yes, should I bookmark both my homepage and my main money post, or one or the other? Nick, good question. But yeah, bookmarking's still valid. It's a diverse. It just adds diversity to your backlink profile. And some of the accounts we use in the IFTTT networks are bookmarking sites, right?
Yep.
Delicious and Digo, those are two. They're very powerful. Pinboard is another one, pinboard.in. It's not in the IFTTT training because it's a paid bookmarking service. It's only $10, or it's like $10.80 some cents to register. Lifetime account for $10, $11. It's a great little bookmarking service. You guys, if anybody's been through the IFTTT training, you're definitely smart enough to set it up yourself without me having to show you how to do it. I recommend doing that for your branded networks. For Tier 2 networks, I wouldn't do it because it's just an added expense. But for branded networks, I use pinboard.in all the time. It's another great bookmarking service. If you're not using IFTTT, there are bookmarking services out there. And yes, they're still valid. It's just additional diversity in your backlink profile.
Yeah. Okay. I wouldn't buy 500 bookmarks from Fiverr, for example.
No.
Even if you're doing it. If you're doing it for a business or a money site, but some manual bookmarks like StumbleUpon and some Reddit, they can also bring traffic, which is also great.
Yeah, I would not recommend using Fiverr social bookmarking gigs for anything pointing to a money site. Right. As far as homepage and your post, yeah, you always want to be diversifying your inbound link profile to your inner pages, or what you call deep linking. And to your homepage as well. I would kind of scale it down on your homepage though. And again, you don't want to go crazy, guys. Velocity, link velocity, right? You do not want to go crazy with building a bunch of links to any one particular part of your website ever. Okay, just drip them out, guys. Seriously, it is no longer about quantity; it's about quality. And you don't want to just blast a bunch of links to anything anymore. Now, once you get out to that's part of why we use the IFTTT networks, right? We talk about Tier 1 and then Tier 2. And at Tier 2, I just juice the hell out of those, with GSA. Or with Tier 1, I set up a FCS networker campaign to my Tier 1 properties. And then from there, we do GSA to the FCS links, which is so GSA is out at Tier 3 once again, right? And we juice the hell out of those, but never directly to the money site. Okay? You don't need to, and it would get you into trouble. Gary says, for social links, do you think starting a tweet account or starring a tweet counts for anything in Google's eyes? I don't know. That's a great question. I am not a huge Twitter user, although with the recent update with Google now indexing tweets, guys, I know there's a lot of untapped potential there that I have not had time to get into testing. I know Hernan has been doing some testing with Twitter stuff, but I don't know if starring a tweet would count for anything in Google's eyes or not. I really don't know. I imagine because it's a little bit of additional social activity. So I'm assuming it would have some benefit, but I don't really know.
Well, we're still testing those. So as soon as we have something, we'll let you guys know. Probably by next week, we can have some results.
I'm really excited to see some of these test results coming back from these Twitter experiments that are going on, not just from Hernan, but from some of the members in the group. Jason Johnson, as a matter of fact, who runs the Sendwire Black Facebook group. He said he came up with a brilliant idea for testing that I don't know if he's been putting that to the test yet. I know Terry Kyle has been doing from SEO Traffic Hacks. He's been doing a lot of Twitter testing recently, and I'm really anxious to dig into some of that data. I got to be honest, I have not, because Twitter has never been a strong suit for me. It's just something that I've used in the syndication networks, but it's not anything that I've ever spent a lot of time in. So I'm going to kind of wait and see what other people do first to figure out how much time I should invest into it, and then I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, they were trying to rank because now that Twitter have changed, well, a couple of months ago they changed the layout, so it has a nice CTA, a call to action, and it has become a nice landing page, for action-driven offers or services. So they were trying to rank Twitter profiles and Twitter pages to see if they are a valid parasite to be ranked, and Semantic Marxist does have, a Twitter profile that's ranked when you are searching for branded terms, and we have ranked a lot of Twitter pages, but they are doing it entirely on Twitter, like syndicating out to Twitter, and see if that can help rank in itself. Right. So we'll see.
Yeah. So we'll find out. Like I said, we'll let you guys know as we can. By the way, Gary asked about there's a link right here. You guys that are on this events page, you can click it. It goes to Quick Sprout, Neil Patel, an article by Neil Patel about social signals impacting search rankings. And what's interesting, and I looked at this earlier, Gary. It's a great infographic. But Google plus ones, or no, I'm sorry, Google circle followers or Google followers. That's what I should say. Google plus followers to a business page had a high. Those pages tended to rank higher. The ones that got Google plus followers to that page. And then he asks about there are no drip-fed social services that I know of to provide this service. Yeah, there are a few. There are a few that not necessarily drip-fed as advertised, but you can like one of them is it's spelled out by Google plus ones.com. There it is. This service, I know I've used this in the past to drip stuff out. You got to contact them and basically tell them up front that you want to drip it out instead. But this is by Google plus ones.com, and you can buy Google plus followers right here. By the way, guys, Google plus shares is another great way to get your videos ranked if you need additional boost. You create a Google plus post, and then you go buy some Google plus shares, or do it naturally. That's obviously the better route to go. But if you don't have a bunch of people that will share your post for you, if you buy some post shares, you can from decent providers, they will help you to rank your videos too. So you basically post the video URL into a Google plus post, then you grab the Google plus post URL and have that shared. So that's actually like the Google. It's not the direct YouTube link being shared. It's the Google plus post being shared, and that will help to rank the video too. That's like a ninja trick, guys, that you can use if you got videos that aren't performing as well as you'd like. Buy Google plus followers right here. It says delivery time, like for example, I mean these are great prices, guys. 250 Google plus followers for $19. It says delivery time 2 to 6 days. However, you can contact them and ask them to drip it out, and they'll do that. It's a woman that owns this, I believe. And so that's one service. There's another service that I've used quite a bit. Let me show you. This is redsocial.net. I've used them. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Hernan.
No, I mentioned that on the events page also because that's a nice service. I really like the report that they are sending.
Yeah, this is a great service, guys. redsocial.net.
Yeah, it's really cheap.
Yeah, and it's a really good service. And then there's another one that I know that I think M. Foley from our mastermind, he pointed this out, and I have not tested this, but it looks interesting. It's a bit on the pricey side, but this is called driprevolution.com. Let me post this, Hernan. You can post that on the page. Guys, I have not tested this, and it looks a little bit pricey, but what I do like about it is it's basically drip campaigns that you can set up. So it's like, $47, $67, $97 a month, whatever, and you get this amount of signals, and they have a loyalty bonus, which means like every month you're there, you get an increase in your signals allotment or whatever. So just so you know, I haven't tested this, but it does look pretty good. I would like to test this because I think it looks promising anyways.
What I've seen is that also on the Ninja side of things, that if you're having, it's kind of the same that with Google Plus, but with Pinterest. You can pin your video, and then you can buy a bunch of repins, and that will help with the ranking as well. Same
thing with Tumblrs and reblogs.
Yep.
If you do a Tumblr post, guys, or go grab your Tumblr post URL from your Tumblr, from the syndication, right, from your IFTTT network, and then go to Fiverr and buy some Tumblr reblogs for that, and you use your Tumblr post URL to have that reblogged. That will help as well. Okay.
Yeah, those are all embeds, so the way we see it is that the more embeds a video have, the better it will rank in some cases. So if you're experiencing some difficulties, or you have those stubborn videos that won't pass page 2 or bottom page 1, you can do that.
Yep. All right, we got I could probably get maybe through 2 more questions, guys, and then the remainder of the questions, you guys will have to post them on the next events page. Sorry, I didn't get to all the questions, but I thought that training in the beginning was important. MMMM says, Bradley, can you give a quick overview of the whole IFTTT method? If you had to sum it up to someone who had never heard of it before in one paragraph, what would you say? So essentially my elevator pitch. What I would say is IFTTT method that we teach is a way to build automated backlinking and syndication networks to rank YouTube videos and or websites on Autopilot. Okay? So that's pretty much my elevator pitch. And if somebody wants to dig into a little bit further, then I say essentially all you need to do is post content to your YouTube channel or your website, your main website, and the IFTTT networks takes care of everything else and will actually help you to rank your properties. So I hope that was it. That's a brief little elevator pitch. Brian asked about posting and indexing, and that's what I went over in the beginning. Daryl, I'm going to try to get to Daryl, and Jason, I'll get to yours very briefly, and the rest of them, actually, I'm going to get to Sandy's too because I saw this earlier, and then we got to go, guys, because I got 5 minutes to get through 3 questions, okay, because we start masterclass in 5 minutes. Daryl says, I got a pair of questions having to do with IFTTT for syndicating blogs. Is there any way to trigger an IFTTT event so that I can get links to older posts? Covered that earlier, Daryl. Yeah, you can reschedule. You can set your publishing status to set to schedule for future posting, and then once it reposts, so like I'll do like 2 minutes ahead of what my current time is, and then I'll refresh the page after 2 minutes, and it will reinsert it back into the feed, which will push it across your network. Okay. Should I really have any links in my post to money sites for PBNs or interlinks from my money sites prior to everything getting pushed out, or can I come back and add links later? No. Once it syndicates, it syndicates. If you change the post after it's syndicated, it will only modify the post on your website. It won't modify all the places that it's been posted to. It's just like a press release. If you submit a press release and it gets picked up and syndicated across dozens or hundreds of press release sites or media sites, then if you go back and edit your press release wherever you originally submitted it to, it doesn't go out and automatically change all those other places. Once it's done, it's done. So you need to make sure that you have that set up first.
Yeah, I think you have a 15-minute window. That's what takes IFTTT to actually trigger the feed. It will trigger every 15 minutes. So if you made a typo, if you want to change anything, you need to do it ASAP. So,
yeah, but sometimes you'll make a post and it'll syndicate immediately. So yeah, I just recommend that you get all your ducks in a row before you press publish.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Jason says, what's up, peeps and peepettes? All right, so here's my question. What is the big deal on Weeblys? Why are they so good for us to use? I know nothing about the strategy. Okay, Jason, we talk about that a ton in Mastermind. We're out of time now, so I can't really cover it too much here, except that what we use Weeblys for is a way to, as buffer sites between some of the real ninja stuff that we do with SEO, domain authority manipulation, trust flow manipulation, and Weeblys are an integral part of that. As well, it's just one of my favorite properties because it's so easy to set up and to use for the ninja stuff that we do with trust flow and domain authority manipulation. However, it's just a buffer site. You can do the same thing with Tumblr, and you can do it with your own domains too. We use them for redirects. Let's put it that way. Okay, it's a redirect site that we use to kind of buffer and to filter negative link juice into good juice. And there's a lot of stuff that is way too advanced to talk about right here, especially with only a minute left. But we do talk about that in the Mastermind extensively. In fact, that's all we've been talking about for the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, lady. Yeah.
Because everybody that comes in wants to learn this strategy, and people have a hard time wrapping their heads around it. Last thing I want to cover is, and I'm going to give props to a fellow SEOer named Brian Parnell. He's the one that came up with this idea, this strategy that Sandy's kind of asking about, and she's probably asking because of this. You guys know, as of April 21st, there's the Google mobile update, which means if your sites are not mobile optimized or that they're going to be demoted in the mobile search. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to affect desktop search, regular search, but in mobile search, your sites are not going to be ranked on page 1 if they're not mobile optimized. Okay, so keep that in mind. So that takes effect April 21st. There is an easy fix for it though, and again, my man Brian Parnell, and guys, I'm going to give you, Hernan, if you would please post this.
Sure.
This here, I'm going to give you all 3 of these links, or just 2 of them. Actually, just 2 of them. The first link, guys, that is coming up right now is for the Google mobile-friendly tester tool, and I'll just show you that real quick, and then we've got to wrap up. We've got to start in 1 minute. So on the other, I don't want to be late for the Mastermind members. They're paying for that. But mobile-friendly test tool, guys, you can test your websites here. Test your home page and 1 or 2 of your inner pages just to make sure that they're mobile-friendly. If they're not, you can use plugin, and again, the link that Hernan just shared called SEOwebgeek.com, that's Brian Parnell's blog. He came up with an ingenious strategy for, first of all, fixing this, and second of all, creating a very quick and easy income out of this strategy. And Jetpack is a plugin that you comes with WordPress.com automatically installed. But if you have a self-hosted WordPress site, you can install the Jetpack plugin, and then you have to connect it to your WordPress.com site, your account. And then I had never used that plugin until I came across Brian Parnell's post about this. And then I went in to check it out, but there's a setting in there for mobile optimizing a site, and it works. And it works. So it can turn a non-mobile optimized site into a mobile optimized site. Plus, there's a bunch of other features in Jetpack that I didn't even know existed because I just never used it that look really cool. I haven't had a chance to dig into it yet, but it's a free plugin, and it gives a lot of additional functionality to WordPress. So I've started using it. And again, guys, if you go check out that post by SEO Web Geek, which is Brian Parnell, like it, +1 it, tweet it, share it, whatever. Give him props for that, because if you follow along that post, it's a short post, but it's very direct, and will teach you how to go out and actually create a really nice side income over the next 2 or 3 weeks from just optimizing non-mobile optimized sites by installing a plugin and clicking a button. And I've contacted all my clients and showed them mobile-friendly tests, just like the blog post shows. I just did a search on their website. And if it came back and said it was not mobile optimized, I contacted them and said, hey, look, I can fix this for you. It's going to cost you X amount of dollars. And then I went and installed the plugin and clicked on the button for mobile optimized, and it fixed it, and then I sent them the bill. So very quick and easy way to do it.
Cool.
So I hope that answers your question, Sandy. I think it's a valuable plugin for that reason, and I think there are some cool features in there that I haven't had a chance to dig into that I would like to test some more. So. Okay, guys, we're 2 minutes behind on Masterclass, so we're wrapping up. Guys, everybody, thanks for being here. Post your questions next week. If they didn't get answered this week, I apologize. We'll get answered next week. And everyone else from Masterclass will see you immediately, okay? Thanks, Fernand. Thanks, Marco, for being here.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.